An 11-year-old is killed in an ATV crash, and UPIKE will take part in a psychedelic education program. I'm Nick Collum, and this is the Mountaintop Daily. Police are investigating after an 11-year-old boy was killed in an ATV crash Wednesday in Knott County. Just before 2:30 Wednesday afternoon, Kentucky State Police Post 13 in Hazard responded to a 911 call reporting a fatal ATV accident on a surface mine road located off Sylvester Branch at Emmalena Community. Preliminary investigation indicates that the boy was operating the ATV at a high rate of speed when he lost control, causing the vehicle to overturn multiple times. The juvenile was ejected from the ATV and sustained fatal injuries. The victim was pronounced dead at the scene by the Knott County Coroner's Office. An autopsy has been scheduled and toxicology results are pending. Police say the boy was not wearing a helmet at the time of the incident. The University of Pikeville is one of a number of schools across the nation that will take part in a new education program centered on psychedelic drugs. The university's psychedelic education program will provide students in the colleges of nursing and human services with training in psychedelic-assisted therapy. Robin spoke with the school to learn more.
The word psychedelics often conjures up images of the hippie movement, an era of free love, amazing music, and mind-altering drugs. Well, it turns out that those mind-altering drugs can actually be beneficial in treating trauma, depression, PTSD, severe anxiety, and other mental illnesses. The University of Pikeville has recently joined the University Psychedelic Education Program, a groundbreaking national initiative focused on training faculty to incorporate evidence-based, culturally responsive content about psychedelic-assisted therapy into the curriculum. We spoke with Dr. Janessa Kilgore-Bowling to learn more.
So when we say psychedelics, what are we talking about?
So when we talk about psychedelics, I think most people think about the recreational use of, like, they think about the 70s and they think about magic mushrooms and LSD, and that is definitely included in the process. But we're talking about something a little bit different. This is a therapeutic use of psychedelics, or of plant medicine. I think it's more appropriately called when we're in this kind of setting with it.
Are there certain psychedelics that people are familiar with that can be applied in this realm?
I think in our area, I think people are probably most familiar with ketamine. Most people are familiar with psilocybin, which comes from the mushrooms. They're familiar with LSD, MDMA, ayahuasca, things like that.
All right, so a lot of people associate psychedelics with that hippie movement.
Yes.
And, there's varying views on that, some stigma attached to, what that represented.
Sure.
Do you see that stigma being an issue?
I think it is, just because we don't understand it. Prior to it being listed as a Schedule 1, it was being researched as far back as the 20s. Oh, wow. And we were finding medical uses for it then. There was the whole war on drugs, and all of that. So I think there is a stigma attached to it for that reason. However, this plant medicine is being used to treat mental illness, which is also very stigmatized. So I think there's a lot of stigma that we have to overcome, but it's not impossible. And the key, I think, is education.
So this is it's a college-based program right now, but do you foresee it kind of like spanning out or spreading out into the community and like healthcare providers in Pikeville surrounding area practicing?
I do. So we do have a few agencies locally that administer ketamine. Our goal of being part of this is that we want to do some continuing education, and we want to be able to talk about, what are you doing in your agencies? What is best practice? How can we support you in, reaching that best practice? I personally believe that it will absolutely change the landscape of mental health treatment in Appalachia. Well, across the nation, across the world, but I'm really excited about what it could do in Appalachia for sure.
Reporting for Mountaintop News, I'm Robin Tillman.
Coming up after the break, visitors to the East Kentucky Science Center were digging deep in Earth's past today. We'll tell you about Dino Madness when the Mountaintop Daily continues. But first, sports and weather.
With this Mountaintop Sports Report for Thursday, I'm Brittany Rowe reporting. Pikeville football will celebrate 100 years this football season, and here's a sneak peek of what is to come later on today on our Mountaintop Sports Facebook page.
Yeah, looking good tonight. I said, my brother? Yeah, we looking good tonight.
50 district championships, 27 regional titles, 4-time state runners-up, 8-time state champions. This is more than a football program. This is a dynasty of greatness. For 100 years, the Maroon brothers have stood shoulder to shoulder, representing grit, pride, and tradition. A century of Friday nights under the lights, a legacy built by legends and carried on by champions. Join us as we celebrate 100 years of Pikeville Panther football. Watch and listen on Mountaintop Sports, the original voice of the Pikeville Panthers.
The past,
the present,
and the future.
Pikeville will host their annual midnight practice tonight at Hillard Howard Field at 12:05 a.m. and Mountaintop Sports will have complete coverage of tonight's practice. On Friday, Belfry and Shelby Valley will host media days to kick off their 2025 season. Mountaintop Sports will have coverage from Pond Creek and Robinson Creek and interviews with players and coaches along the way. For the latest area, high school, and college sports news, remember to check us out at mountain-topsports.com or like and follow us on Facebook, X, and TikTok. Reporting for Mountaintop Sports, I'm Brittany Rowe. Have a great Thursday, sports fans.
When the government took Social Security away from honest Eastern Kentuckians, Attorney Ned Pillersdorf got the hearings declared unconstitutional. When the women guards were harassed at Little Sandy Jail, Ned fought back, securing a $1 million verdict at trial. And when the state tried to shut down Cordia School, Ned fought back and kept the school open. Attorney Ned Pillersdorf fights for the underdog, and he's ready to fight for you.
It's Christmas in July at Appalachian Wireless, where the gifts come early and the savings are huge. Get an iPhone 14 for just a penny with eligible trade-in and plan, or unwrap a free iPad, Samsung S25, or iPhone 16 on us with qualifying Advantage plans. How about $75 off prepaid phones? But don't wait, these holiday deals in July won't last for long. Visit AppalachianWireless.com or visit us in one of our many retail locations where Christmas in July is happening now. Because we are you, we are Appalachian Wireless.
A visit to the East Kentucky Science Center often leaves people with thoughts of a future of space travel, but those going to the center today were more focused on the past, way, way back in the past. I went to the center today to get a look at Dino Madness. On Thursday, July 31st, the East Kentucky Science Center hosted its Dino Madness as part of their Drop-In for Science series. Suitable for most ages, the presentation focused on the different time periods at which dinosaurs and other now extinct creatures walked the earth and the mark they left behind. Former Big Sandy professor Dwight Smith tells us more.
You have a lot of interested kids and adults too who ask questions. The thing I like about doing this, most kids like dinosaurs. And what I like about this is that it gives the children and adults too an appreciation, a better appreciation of nature, of the animals of today, and more sensitive to things like environmental conditions that the dinosaurs had to face compared to what we have to face today. It was a much different world that they lived in, but in some respects, some things were still the same. They were animals just like the ones we have today. They had the same issues, getting food, reproducing, avoiding danger, and in many cases taking care of their young and being able to survive.
The Science Center hosts events such as this to engage the community and give learners the opportunity to see things they haven't seen before. The Drop-In for Science series will be returning next summer.
So this focus that we had today was on dinosaurs, but it's part of a bigger series called Drop-In for Science that we do every summer. So this was the last for this summer that we're going to be having, but we'll be featuring it again next summer. We really love incorporating our community in the Science Center. So if there are experts outside of our expertise here at the Science Center and our staffing here, it's a way to build community relationships, and we love building those relationships, bringing other people in, keeps it interesting, keeps the crowds. It's interesting to see who shows up for the different topics that we cover. And sometimes there's a ton and we were almost at capacity. And sometimes there's just a few, but we still have a lot of fun like we did today with the dinosaur focus. So.
That will do it for this edition of the Mountaintop Daily. Be sure to check us out at 6 p.m. every weekday on Mountaintop TV, the Mountaintop TV app, and the Mountaintop News Facebook page. With your Mountaintop Daily, I'm Nick Collum for Mountaintop News.